Today, I write these final lines not as a warning, but as a record. A raw and bitter truth that humanity has been forced to face. Humankind is no more. Not because of nuclear war. Not because of an asteroid. Not because of AI rising against us. The usual doomsday scenarios that Hollywood has overplayed. We, all 8 billion of us, were wiped out. Not by an explosion, but by absolute silence. No smoke, no blood, no screaming. Only a quiet death, spreading like morning fog, soft as breath, fast as thought. I am the last person with a clear enough mind to write this down, and I do so not for the living, for there are none, but for whoever or whatever might find this record, an AI, a new evolved species, or a traveler from the distant stars. Consider this the final statement of a fallen civilization, or simply a whisper from the ashes. Read carefully, because what ended us did not look like a monster. It did not arrive in a spaceship. It was a virus that knew how to listen to your mind. Chronovirus Zeta, also known as the Sixth Hour Maker, was first detected on June 12, 2087, at a climate research station in the Arctic. A young scientist, drilling into an ancient ice layer estimated to be over 14,000 years old, unknowingly released something that did not belong to our time. No smell, no color, no obvious biological trace. Chronovirus Zeta was nothing like the viruses we knew, not like corona, not like influenza, not even remotely similar to any known RNA or DNA family. It didn't need a host to reproduce. It didn't require proteins to survive. It wasn't entirely organic, nor entirely mechanical. Researchers later classified it as a semi-organic virus, a hybrid between nanoscale material and biological tissue. Something close to a living entity, but not quite. At first, we thought it was some freak mutation, a natural anomaly. But as the evidence piled up, another, more terrifying theory emerged. Chronovirus Zeta may not be from Earth at all. Chronovirus Zeta didn't spread through the air like the coronavirus. It didn't need sneezes. It didn't need touch. It spread through waves, to be precise, through human brainwaves. An infected person didn't have to cough. They didn't even have to speak. They only needed to think. And everyone within a 10-meter radius would begin the process of what we later called the molecular countdown. Chronovirus Zeta didn't invade like traditional viruses. It didn't hijack cells to replicate. It synchronized with neural frequencies and rewrote biological code through resonance. The infection unfolded in 3 phases. Attachment, it latched onto brainwave activity. Rewriting, it altered genetic instructions, triggering cellular self-destruction exactly 144 hours later. Broadcasting, it overlaid a synthetic consciousness onto the host, causing them to unknowingly emit the virus to others, just by existing. What terrified us most was the silence. No fever, no coughing, no symptoms for the first 5 days. Then, on day 6, the entire nervous system collapsed. Within 18 minutes, all biological functions ceased. Death came as swiftly as a breath, as quietly as a passing thought. No quarantine method worked, no mask, no protective suit, no safe zone, because you can't lock up a brainwave. Chronovirus Zeta didn't need planes, didn't need airports, didn't travel by droplets or doorknobs. It moved by thought, and thought is impossible to contain. By early July 2087, just 9 days after the first recorded case, Chronovirus Zeta had reached 37 countries. 9 days. No virus in history had ever moved this fast. Not Ebola, not HIV, not even SARS-CoV-2. In a Berlin park, witnesses described the impossible. 12 people, seated far apart, reading books, drinking coffee, suddenly collapsed all at once, without a sound. They died with a faint smile, as if hearing a beautiful melody inside their head, then vanished. The World Health Organization named it The first non-physical global catastrophe. Governments tried building Faraday-caged cities to block the signal. Failed. Others built underground bunkers deep beneath the surface, shielded by lead and concrete. But they forgot something. The infected carried the wave in their own minds. They were the signal. We thought COVID was the final wake-up call. We built global alert systems. We invested trillions into preventative medicine, AI prediction models, next-gen vaccines. We created Level 4 biolabs. We synthesized viruses in vacuum chambers. We produced mRNA vaccines in under 48 hours. We thought we were ready for anything, but all of it was an illusion of control. We forgot one simple truth. A virus doesn't need to be alive to kill you. Chronovirus Zeta had no RNA, no DNA, no protein coat, no replication enzymes. It didn't need you to live. It didn't need you to die. It only needed one thing, your brain's signal. We called it a virus. But in reality, it was a kind of ancient intelligence, without form, without thought, without mercy. It was not a murderer. It was not evil. It was just the wrong frequency, in the wrong species, at the wrong time. I remember it clearly. January 1st, 1988. I was standing in the Global Biocontainment Command Center, buried deep within the Swiss Alps. Outside the window, a silent snowstorm. On the screens, the world map slowly going black. One by one, countries dropped off the network. Not because of war, not because satellites failed, but because there was no one left to send the signal. Cities that once pulsed with light went dark. Airports, ports, power plants, all motionless, like relics in a museum of extinction. No sirens, no screaming, just wind, and machines still operating, with no humans to command them. That's when I understood. Humans, the species that walked on the moon, created the internet, mapped the genome, were being erased like a bad line of code in nature's operating system. No war, no funerals, no final words, just brains shutting down across the planet in perfect sync with a frequency no one could hear except the thing that made it. I don't write this to apologize. I don't write out of regret. I am no hero. I am just a scientist, a witness, a survivor, for a few final hours in the history of our species. If one day, someone, or something, finds this record, whether you're an artificial intelligence, a species that evolved after us, or a traveler from a distant galaxy, please know, we were here. We loved. We created. We laughed. We feared. We tried to understand the universe. But in the end, we trusted our own minds too much. We thought consciousness was our greatest gift, but it turned out to be our last transmission. Chronovirus Zeta didn't kill us with weapons. It didn't spill blood. It didn't scream. It ended us with a signal, with the very thing we used to think, to remember, to dream, to love. We were erased by a virus with no form, a virus that could simply listen. I am Alan Harkins, virologist, Global Institute for Biointelligence, year 1993. This is humanity's final whisper from Earth.